All right, welcome to Friday's Coach's Tip. Sylvie Dow here, your host of Secrets from the Saddle podcast, and this is a pretty extraordinary segment because what we're going to be talking about is the pedal stroke. And did you know that hundreds and thousands of people are sitting on their trainers this winter over like any other year, and the majority of them are beginners, and the majority of them could be doing from sitting on your trainer is actually developing a poor pedal stroke form or poor form in your pedal stroke. And you're like, how can that be? Well, let me tell you, first off, if you're getting on the trainer and you have no idea about pedal form, then how can it possibly get better? A. And if you're just sitting on the bike and you're just sort of kind of, pedaling the way you pedaled before you got off, the road, or pedaling the same as you did throughout the summer, you're not going to get any better. And here's the thing. There's one thing that we know that all cyclists have in common, regardless of age, gender, type of bike. Every bike, we all have a set of pedals. Every one of our bikes has a set of pedals, and we're all going to be pushing our pedals with our legs. Okay, so that's something we all have in common. And this is something that everybody can improve, regardless of who you are, where you're sitting, terrain, anything. This is where you can improve, and it's your pedal stroke. And that's why I wanted to come and get on here and just do a little demonstration. So if you want to get on Zoom and see this visually, I highly recommend it. And also a couple things that are going to change with the podcast. Now, I know I've been looking at the numbers and people are watching the podcasts, and what I think I might do, and give me your opinion, please, is I'm just going to focus on audio for the interviews, and then I'm going to put my coaching tips on a video on my YouTube channel. And the reason being is that my YouTube channel is like dedicated to fitness and cycling tips. And I think, maybe having the podcast audios or videos might be a bit much. So just focus those guys right into just the audios. So I really do need to know what you think about that. Like if you like to visually see, because sometimes I like to visually see, but I do a lot of just listening in the background while I'm working. So I'm not really looking at anything. However, I do have some on-site interviews, and those will definitely be up. And I love doing those because those are super fun and visually stimulating. And anyways, so that's what I'm going to change. And I definitely need your advice on that. All right. So now let's talk about pedal stroke. And this is also wrapped around a couple other exciting things. I'm going to share with you later. I want you to visualize you on your bike. If you're watching this, you're going to be able to see this. Now, there's a couple things about pedal stroke. There's 4 quadrants in the pedal stroke. So if you think of your pedal stroke, think of a clock. Okay, you're going clockwise. So from at the very top of your pedal stroke, that's like 12. At the very bottom, it's 6. So then straight in front is 3. Right and back is 9. So you get 12, 3, 6, and 9. So you get that. This is what your pedal stroke looks like. Majority of the people have a very boxy pedal stroke. And those are the ones who don't know about the different quadrants and how to improve and become a smooth pedaler. And so this is what I'm just going to go through quickly today. So I want you to visualize that you are at the top. So your foot is flat. So here's a little thing that you can go and you can test yourself. Get a mirror from a cheap mirror, $7 from Walmart, sit it right beside you, and then start taking a look at what your pedal stroke looks like. Okay, I bet you'd be really astonished because here it is. A lot of people do very oval types of pedal strokes. So it's like a power down, rest at the bottom, and up. Power down, rest up. So you can kind of hear the difference in the pedal. So you got your shoe, and your foot's in the pedal, and you're pushing forward and basically down, and you're not doing anything on the upward stroke because you're just relying on the other foot pushing down. So you kind of see that, like you're just mashing down, like 12 to 6, 12 to 6, 12 to 6, 12 to 6, and there's nothing happening on the back. There's nothing happening on the top or the bottom. So I'm going to explain, like, this is breaking down the pedal stroke. Now, if you go into my YouTube channel, check out this video and that video. There are videos that I have on pedal stroke because this is a huge topic. And if you get it, you'd be worlds ahead in speed and power on flats, hills, you name it. Okay, so you've got the power down, you got the mashing the pedals, little flow up. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 4 quadrants. And let's think about the 4 quadrants from, so the top of the box is like from 11 to 2. So it's like that top over the top of the pedal stroke. So right at the top. And then the bottom going down the side of the box is 12 to 6, right? You got that power down. And then the bottom of the box is like 5 to 7. So that's where you drop that heel and you power back. And it's that little portion that you're really isolating. And then the back part, so the other side of the box is from 6 to 12. So you're really putting the emphasis on the back side of your pedal. And that's the difference. If you can pedal with the knowledge of those 4 different quadrants and know how to execute them when you need them on your hills, in your flats, in your time trials, sprints, you are going to be so far ahead. Like, you can improve your speed by 20%. Is that freaking crazy? That's crazy. And also, the thing is that when you do this, you're not always using the quads on the power down, you know, and that's where your legs get super tired and lactic acid builds up and you need to slow down and recover. So what if you could access all different muscle groups of your legs? So over the top, you know, quads, power down into your calves, hamstrings, glutes. Quads, power down, calves, hamstrings, glutes. So you got the quads in the front, the hamstrings in the glutes, and the calves in the back. What if, like, your quads are so tired and then you can, I can engage my hamstring by pulling up on the pedals in the back a little bit more. And this is so, like, I've been teaching this for 15 years. I learned it when I was a spin instructor in my own studio. I went, I coached with Mad Dog Athletics, and it was all cycling related drills from high level cyclists. And this is what they taught. So I've been teaching this method for like over a decade. And the people that come through my program, and my program is usually 16 weeks, you know, 1 day a week, you come in, you train, you learn. It's like you're drilling in these drills and the knowledge. And so you just get it repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. So when you're actually out on the road, you can execute and you know when to execute. And you're like, oh yeah, this is what I need. My legs are super tired. I am going to now do like a power up or a push down. So let's just go back to the pedal stroke. And what I teach is we break it down. So say you got the top. So it's like driving your knees forward. So you're driving your knees, both of them together. Drive, 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 drive. Then you switch to the power down. So power, 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 power. So your legs you're pushing down hard into the balls of your feet, into your pedals. And then you're sweeping. So you've heard the term scraping mud off your shoes, dog poo, whatever people use. That's the terminology. So it's sweeping. So you're really pulling on those pedals. Yes, you have to be clipped in. And your heels are hitting the back of your shoes. You're really pushing, pulling. And then the next one on the back is like, and this is the hardest one because it's the most uncomfortable, is the pull up. So you're engaging those calves, quads, not quads, calves, hamstrings, glutes as you bring the pedal over. Okay. So imagine you could, be using all four of those quadrants when you're tired. And this is what I teach. It's like, when you get tired, what do you go back to? What do you have to go back to? You have to go back to skill and technique. And that is going to get you through to the other side. When you're tired, you're like, oh my God, I can't. And then you're like, okay, what can I do to, give my quads a break? What can I do to, so you have to you have to start thinking in that. And that's what I love about my program, is that it just drills it in over 16 weeks. And I also have like a 12-week and then an 8-week, which just finished registration. And now we're into the home stretch for the spring. What if you could learn about all of this? And this is just honestly scratching the surface, because once you get this technique down, I encourage you to go home. Next time you're on your trainer, use this drill. I'm going to give you 4 drills to do while you're warming up. Okay. And this is what we do in our program all the time. So you warm up for 20 minutes, zone 1. I know your heart rate is probably not going to stay there, but 20 minutes is zone 1. First 5 minutes, you're just cycling at, 90 RPM. And here's the thing. If you want to get fast, you got to be cycling fast, which means over 90 RPM. Stop riding in 80s or 70s, okay? So first 5 minutes, 90 RPM. Second 5 minutes is isolated leg. And I'll put these in the category. So isolated leg is just you're isolating one leg. And I always talk about strengthening your legs individually, whether it's like strength training. So like, individual squats and lunges and things like that, where you're just isolating your leg. Because if you have inconsistencies, one leg's stronger than the other, injuries, you're always going to overcompensate. And then when you overcompensate, you get more injured. So wouldn't it be great to have a couple things where you could actually strengthen your legs individually? Okay, so you're going to be powering down. So you have a couple options. You can unclip one foot and put it back on your trainer leg if you have like an old style trainer, and you just pedal with one foot, with one leg. Okay, and then switch it up every 30 seconds or 1 minute. Or you just keep your foot in and you really focus on one leg, power, and then switch it up. And you'll notice that one leg is stronger than the other. One gets weaker than the other. And this is things that you have to, and during the winter is what you want to do to strengthen your legs. The winter is the best time to get stronger, right? So these are things to be doing to get stronger. Okay, number 3 is doing some jumps. So some light power jumps. You're getting up, you have maximum resistance on your bike, and you're just going for 4 pedal strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, sit back into your saddle. And let me tell you, boys and girls, there's a technique to doing that. Yeah, so that's another thing that we teach in the program. There is a technique to getting in and out of your saddle. 3, and then number 4 is going through your pedal strokes. So it's fresh in your mind. So when you get into your drills, you know exactly what you're going to be doing. Here's saying you do your drills together, and then what you do is you split the legs apart. So while one leg is pushing down, the other leg is pulling. One leg's pushing, the other is pulling. Pushing, pulling, pushing, pulling. So they're like helping each other. You're not working them together. You're working them opposite each other. And that is like mentally takes a little bit to get used to. Then, so those are your 4 warm-ups. And if you're just getting into cycling and training inside, you don't want to be going backwards with your performance, with your strength training. You want to be like actually feel like you're getting stronger, right? And training properly is a whole other podcast episode, because just think 80-20. And I think I did one on it. I'd have to go back and check. But 80-20 rule, 80% endurance, 20% intensity. So if you're in there for, I think I did one, go back in one of my episodes for endurance base building. So if you are training 10 hours, 2 hours of it is dedicated to intense workouts. So like intervals, hill climbing, things like that. And the other 8, my friends, is zone 2. Back to the pedals. Now, what I'm offering this I have a session a month, and what I'm doing is basically offering a 4-hour cycling skills intensive. So I know 4 hours, but you know what? If you can go through a workshop and get the skills you need to apply immediately to whether you're on the road or you're on the trainer or you're in Ruby or Swift or wherever you are training, would you do it? Would you want to know about this pedal stroke? Would you want to know how to climb hills efficiently? Would you want to know how to sprint? So that's what's in it. So 4 hours, 4 modules. First, we are going to go all over the pedal stroke. So how it's going to work, it's like I'm going to write it up and explain it. And then I'm going to demonstrate it. And then I'm going to put you through drills. So you're going to be on your bike. You're not going to be sitting there. Well, you are going to be taking notes, but you're going to be ready to sit on your bike and go through the drill. So you get a full understanding of what it's about. Okay, so that's like the first hour. Then the next one is dedicated to hill climbing. Then the next one is a power and speed. And then the last one, I have a nutritional webinar talking about nutritional timing. So what to eat before, what to eat during, what to eat after, breakdown of your week, your sleep, everything that goes into being full of energy and ready to ride and put out your optimal training session every time. It's so important. It's not about hammering it out, put the hours in. You have to look at the big picture. And so that's what 4-hour program is all about. So there's going to be a link there. And if this appeals to you, the price is so reasonable for 4 hours of what I teach over 16 weeks, broken down into intensive little segments to get you everything you need that you can go the next day into your training and start applying what you need to get better. Today's episode, Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a subscriber and enjoying these segments. And please leave comments of things that you would like to learn about. I mean, there's so many things that I can teach. Sometimes it's just like, I don't know what to teach next, but if you have something that intrigues you and you want to know more about, or then I would absolutely love to know what that is. I'm going to add one more plug. Now, this is super exciting. Ask yourself, do you know who Joe Friel is? Okay, Joe Friel is like Tony Robbins of personal development. Joe Friel to cycling is like the guru. He is going to be on my podcast, and we're going to be talking about this book. Now, boys and girls, if you are riding inside, he literally wrote this book this summer with Jim Rutberg. Okay. And I got this as an audiobook and I listened to it. And at first I wasn't into Swift. I'm like, I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon because I know people overdo it and they get overtrained and all that. And then I started listening to it and it really does make sense. I love the fact that he talks about pedal stroke efficiency and how people sitting on their bikes are not doing themselves a favor because they don't have the skills to become better at cycling, because they're actually getting less fit or less fast because they don't have the knowledge about pedal stroke. So I love that because I've been teaching it for decades. But it really broke down how to train properly inside on your trainer with Swift. So I'm going to put a link here. It's amazing. That's why I bought the book, just as a reference, so that I can go in and actually see, because, you know, when they're talking about audio, they're like, and this base workout and that base workout. So you have like, I'm super excited. So please make sure you subscribe so you catch this episode. And I have other episodes with Hunter Allen, who wrote Train and Race with a Power Meter. Really, really exceptional guys. With that, so have an amazing day. Don't forget to subscribe and share and practice breaking it down, and practice next time you're on your bike. Take the 20 minutes, 5 minutes each one of those segments. Okay. Take care. And I'd love to know what you thought, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you again. And before you take off, I have a couple quick announcements, cycling related, of course. So I have my online bike maintenance webinar, though you'll learn how to change your tires, repair broken chains, adjust your brakes, and learn how to use all the tools that are in your bike bag that you should be carrying with you. Go to bmcwebinar.com. The next one is my 4-hour cycling skills intensive course. Now, this is where you're going to get all the cycling skills you need to take your experience to the next level, whether it's on the road or online. You're going to learn proper bike pedal form that's going to help you with your efficiency. You're going to learn how to climb hills, all the skills, tips, and tricks, and speed and power. Not to mention, we're going to finish off with nutrition that ties everything together. So go to cyclingskillspro.com and you can find all those information on my courses, webinars, and downloads there. Take care and have an amazing day. And remember, you're only one pedal stroke away from cycling like a pro.